have a ledger that everybody has access to. Anybody can come in and write software updates to kind of change how the ledger works, and it's not controlled by a centralized authority or a government or a company. How in the hell is it going to be secure? How is it going to be safe? How? Well, now we have to understand the three players involved in a blockchain network. And for this example, we'll use Bitcoin's blockchain because Bitcoin is the most famous of blockchains and the most famous of crypto assets. So we've got three players involved. We've got the software developers, the coders, who create the protocol and the code that runs the ledger, that creates the infrastructure of the ledger or the blockchain. Then we have miners who go out and mine, like gold miners. They go out and mine for Bitcoin in this case. And then we've got the general public, you and me, that use Bitcoin to buy and sell goods and services. We use Bitcoin to send over to our families overseas. And these transactions need to be added to the blockchain or the online digital ledger. So how does that happen? Well, every 10 minutes or so, the transactions are bunched together into blocks, which is why it's called blockchain. And this block of new transactions has to be added to the ledger or the blockchain. The miners are the ones that do that. The miners use computing power to solve for what's known as a hash code. A hash code or a hash function is basically, you can think of as an alphanumeric, randomly generated blocker combination that they have to solve for. And so they all compete. They all use their computing power to race against one another to solve for this hash function. The miner that solves for it first now gets to add this block of transactions onto the digital ledger. But how do we know that he got the right answer? All the other miners on the network now have to check his work. This is known as proof of work. This is how you legitimize the addition or the adding of transactions onto the blockchain. So now all the other miners who got the same answer but just didn't get it as quickly check this miner's work, and as long as 51% of the miners on the network agree that yes, he did in fact get the right answer, then this miner who did get the right answer first now gets to add the block onto the blockchain. And as a result, this miner gets Bitcoin, and he gets right now 12.5 Bitcoin, $10,000 a pop. It's about $120,000. Now you see how the coin is very, very important, because the coin gives an economic incentive to the miners to then mine for Bitcoin and add transactions onto the ledger, onto the blockchain.